$9 million. We have $60, $70 million plans. You mean you think it's cheaper to leave it there so they can have it than it is to fill it up with a half a tank of gas and fly it into Pakistan or fly it back to our country? You think, yes, sir, we think it's cheaper, sir. That's when I realized he was a f***ing idiot.
I'm sorry.
So Donald Trump in this speech was lashing out at General Mark Milley. Donald Trump was apparently confused by the idea that it's cheaper to leave equipment in Afghanistan than it would be to take it back with us. And what this really reveals is that Donald Trump doesn't understand the game that he himself was playing for 4 years. The truth of the matter is, it really doesn't matter what the cheaper option was in Afghanistan. Leaving Afghanistan was an opportunity for giant defense contractors to sell a bunch of new equipment to the United States military. The need to recover all of that equipment, or at very least replace all of that equipment, was one of the driving factors for all these Republicans that were pushing for a huge increase to the military budget.
But count me in for looking at procurement reform and giving the Pentagon a good once-over in terms of its modernization of its computer systems and contractors and all that good stuff. But what I want to do is remind the American public that the number one goal, in my view, of the federal government is to protect us. There are people out there that would destroy our way of life if they could, and we need to make sure they can't do that.
Because what people need to understand is that most of the defense budget is organized around how defense contractors can make the most amount of money. The companies that produce all of that fancy equipment, those people get paid, and they get paid more the more random stuff that we buy. And the real secret is, a lot of that new stuff isn't fully tested, isn't fully justified, and very often doesn't work.
We went aboard the USS Ford to find out why America's most advanced aircraft carrier still can't be deployed nearly 2 decades after plans to build it began. The Ford was designed to save billions over a 50-year lifespan. Still, the Ford was double the cost of the last carrier built, and it's been plagued with unexpected costs and delays. Just unclogging the toilets can cost $400,000.
Just look at the new aircraft carriers. They tried to load so much random new equipment onto those aircraft carriers that they are basically floating paperweights. Then you have the F-35, which was not a substantial improvement, cost literally billions of dollars, and has been very slow in terms of the rollout. But hey, at least a bunch of defense contractors got tons of money to make those, right? Because that's what people need to understand. Because there's another layer to this that's very, very important. The truth is, the United States military is not that capable. The United States military isn't even supposed to be that capable. It's not supposed to be a war-fighting machine around the world. The truth of the matter is that the United States military, primarily over the past 70 years, has been nothing other than a machine to brutalize innocent civilians. When the United States military bumps up against any organized force, they fall apart usually pretty quickly. The United States failed in Afghanistan, the United States failed in Vietnam, and the United States has failed basically everywhere it's been if you look at it through the lens of winning a war. Now, if you look at military operations through the lens of the United States going in with the intention of killing countless civilians, destabilizing a country, and preventing them from having any type of economic independence, well then in that regard the United States military is very successful. Which is why all of this fancy equipment from Boeing and Raytheon doesn't really need to work. The truth is, it doesn't take that much equipment for armed soldiers to kill innocent civilians. This fancy gadgetry is more of a profit-making scheme for Boeing and Raytheon than anything else. And that's really the game that Donald Trump fails to understand. In fact, most Americans fail to understand it. But you'd think as the president of the United States, Donald Trump would have had a little bit more understanding that that's what's going on. I mean, take it from me. I learned the hard way. I was in the military for 8 years. This is Ben Carollo with Rebel Headquarters. You can catch my show Galaxy Brain on the Young Turks Twitch channel every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to stay up to date with my content.